The main achievement is a mindset change. Young people, unfortunately, these days are outsourcing their well-being and their livelihood to people that don't have an interest in their well-being and their livelihood. Those people would be people that are sitting in positions of power. So the only way we're going to turn that around is by us understanding how serious we have to take this. We can't sit and wait. We have this thing where we sit and we wait and this person is not doing this for us and we expect them to do this. No.
Hello guys, welcome to myself Simon Show. Today I have an incredible honor to interview one of the people that I love. He doesn't need any introduction, but he's an entrepreneur and he does a whole lot of things. Today I have an honor to be joined by Duduzane Zuma. How are you, my brother?
Mr. Marcelo Simon, I'm good. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm well.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Thank you very much.
No, I know there's a lot I can say about you, which can take the whole interview on itself as an intro. Thank you so much for making this time. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Like seriously?
I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm honored for you to have made this happen. You know, people may not understand it, but you've done a lot to get us to sit around this table.
No, you're the one who made this possible.
Thank you.
On a serious note, bro, how are you doing? Because you went through the most, and most of the time whenever we have guests, we only ask them what we want to ask them. We never ask them how they do it, because life has been tough for you. You are not able to function the way you wish to. That includes economically, and there are a lot of things that are happening around your life.
Mr. Simon, I think the most important thing is I'm still standing. I think that's what counts. You know, in life you get knocked down. In life you face trials and tribulations, challenges, and it's how you overcome. You know, it's not easy, as you said, but it's something that has to be done. You know, when you're left no choice, you got to keep forging forward. So, for all intents and purposes, life is good. You know, as everyone says, life could be better, but for now, I'm super happy. Things are going the way I need them to go. I'm in a peaceful place.
Have you managed to kind of accept the situation that you unfortunately found yourself in since 2014 when it comes to your activities economically being shut down?
Yeah, so acceptance is something that people, or human beings should I say, will take. And most times there's a negative connotation to it, you know, about feeling helpless. Say, I'm accepting this because I have no other choice. So I don't like to think that I've accepted the situation. I'll keep fighting. You know, as much as it's happened to myself and I experienced it the way I've experienced it as an individual, there are a lot of people that have gone through this before me. There are a lot of people that are going through the most right now in relation to the scenario that I find myself in. And there'll be others that will go through it, you know, in the years to come. So my duty as a human being that's been placed in this situation is very simple. Create a basis where people can learn from it, and it shouldn't have to happen to anybody, you know. So I haven't accepted it yet. It's something that I'm still fighting.
When you say fighting, you're fighting like legally trying to open up an account, or maybe being granted the access or the right to open account.
Right. So fighting means spiritually, means mentally.
Yeah.
You know, the actual fight in the legal perspective is neither here nor there. You know, how is one expected to fight a fight when there's been a predetermined outcome without any charges, without any court case, without any trials? You know, so when you look at the situation as a whole, you'll understand that we also live in an environment where we see how the judiciary behaves in certain aspects. Some people are treated more equally than others. You know, I don't want to give away the time frame, but I mean, there's quite an interesting judgment that was put out yesterday in relation to one of the most serious things that's happened in our country when it comes to the Phala Phala case.
Yeah.
You know? So you look at these things and you say, okay, cool. How is it that some people have to go through some of these challenges and others don't? Why is it when there's a certain level of evidence, whether it's contrived, whether it's cooked up, whether it's trumped up or not, But how come when there's a certain level of evidence, for some people it's brushed away and for others it's not? So when it comes to that sort of fight, I do understand. As much as I may get a legal team to try and fight this case, we'll understand that if you're not given an opportunity to fight on a fair basis, it's not going to happen. So spiritually, mentally, I'm definitely fighting through it, and I will. The outcome will be favorable, not just to myself, but to many others who've been faced with these challenges. We're just changing the lay of the land, and we're changing the way the battlefield is stacked up.
Bro, most of the time, whenever we read articles online or maybe coverage in media, there seems to be like connotations and not like a deeper or immense interpretation or coverage of the whole situation. In your own understanding, what was the ANN7 for? Like, what was the purpose of establishing that company?
So, fairness, equality,
Yes,
truths, balanced views, disruption. That was the purpose of why ANN7 was formed. ANN7 being Africa News Network 7. Because if you look at the lay of the land, not just in South Africa, but globally, the way that news is pushed out to the public, it's become very factional in a sense. Factional, it's become very one-sided, depending on which side you fall on, both from the political angle and the business side. Media has been used to fight certain battles where all we need to give people is the right information. Here's information as it stands. This is a chronology of what the situation is, and you make your own decision. But now what's happening is, and what happened at the time as well when we formed this, we saw that, look, I think there's an opportunity in our country for us to give people an opportunity to decide for themselves. Guys, this is the information. This is what's happened. We're not here to push you to whatever direction it is that you want to think. You make your own decision. So there's been a lot of bias when it comes to media coverage. It's unfortunate because it's supposed to be open-ended, it's supposed to be free and fair. And till today, we know it's not free and fair. And I speak from my own perspective, because I'm not speaking from a second-hand where, and we can all do that, where we can see, hey, this has happened. Why is Mr. Simon being treated this way? We know the real story. No, I'm speaking about from myself, what I went through, the information that's been peddled, and we sit here today, and none of that is true. A lot of what's being said from a negative media coverage is false. So we need to be very circumspect. And if you look at why we set up ANN7, was purely to dispel those notions, to say journalists, presenters, editors, wherever you are, especially on the younger side of life, there's an opportunity to chart a new way on how news should be fed to people, how current affairs should be disseminated to the masses. And that's why we formed the ANN7.
The reason why I asked, I just want to give you the context of why I mentioned like connotations that are around media coverage, is because allegedly the media says that one of your companies that includes ANN7
Yes, sir.
was formed so that it can loot money,
Okay.
from the state. So that's why I wanted your context. And in terms of it, like having allegations also that a lot of the technical work that was done in the company was illegal and did not follow the proper protocols. Is that true?
When you say illegal and proper protocols, what do you mean by that? And I'll answer the first part about the question.
They said that some of the people who were transported from India to come and do the technical work when it comes to their visas were not like legally approved. There's some of the things that didn't go in a proper channel and direction.
I think that's a very simple question to answer. Speak to the authorities, if that's the case. A lot of people like saying things. A lot of people like insinuating that this happened, that happened. At the end of the day, you'll find there's residents, there's people that get work permits, there are people that become naturalized. It's a process. There's people here that are on study visas, whatever the case may be. The only way to answer that question is to actually go through the authorities and say, so and so, this is the name, and this is the story. Because this back and forth thing for people saying what they want to say and making whatever accusations that lead to those connotations. It's not on. It's a very, very simple thing. Speak to the department, speak to the authorities. They'll have that information. There's no way we can get around it. And if that was the case, where are those people? Why were they not arrested? Why were they not questioned? Whatever it is. It's easy to say A, B, C, and D are here because of, anyone can say that. People can say that about me, people can say that about you, which is fine. But at the end of the day, where is the information that states that? So I completely reject that. That's definitely not the truth. We had some very competent, very experienced people who are globally reputed that we had an opportunity to work with, and we learned a lot from. And a lot of people within the company learned a lot from them. Because, bear in mind, it's an opportunity that we also created for young up-and-coming journalists as well, presenters, technical people, editors, camera operators, and the likes. No one else has been doing that. No one else, had done it at the time, and no one else is really doing it now. If you look at the beginnings of ANN7 and how much ridicule we went through, it's purely based on that. Guys, we don't care what people say. We're giving people opportunities. We're going to make those mistakes, allow us to make those mistakes, and we ended up being one of the most popular news channels in the country. And then to answer your first question on ANN7 being a mechanism to loot what? And I'm not asking the question, I'm just stating this to your audience. Because if you look at where we're at, we're pioneers in the space. We're one of a few at that time besides the private channel, ENCA, and the state broadcaster, SABC. We were one of 3 South African news channels, 24-hour news channels. No one else is doing it. Right? So people should be actually saying, guys, you guys stepped up, which we did. And not what it is that we're going to be, what was it that we're going to be looting from the state. No, we spent a lot of money setting up those structures, equipment, employing people, premises. So for that statement, if you look at the way the budgets are broke down, right? If you look at the possibilities of what media companies will benefit from, private or public, is advertising spend. And if you look at the advertising spend, and you can do it now in your own time, you look at the budgets that are spent on the media houses. We got the smallest portion, right? There's multi-billions that were spent at the time. Now, my question to you and I pose this to your viewers, if you look at those budgets of billions of rands that are spent, who are the people getting those major budgets? Now, if they're getting a major portion of it, does that mean they're looting? Yes or no? Does it mean we're looting with the smaller budgets? Yes or no? So if we're going to have this conversation, let it be a broad conversation and let it be a well-rounded conversation where we say, guys, this is what it is, and this is the way it's going.
There's so many things around AN7 that includes also the allegation saying that the journalists were trained in a short space of time, did not even when it comes to interviews on the people who are supposed to work there was not proper proceedings. If you want to comment something on that.
All right, so my comment is very simple. I'm not part of any HR team. I'm not part of any hiring team that was there at the time. The brief was very simple. We have this opportunity. We're creating opportunities for others. We're looking for young talent.
Like myself.
Like yourself. So now you're going to face that challenge and you're going to answer your own question if you haven't answered it yourself on someone that's in the media space and is limited to opportunities. Yeah, so we were saying we have people that are coming, young graduates. Experience? Yes, a lot of them didn't have experience. 100%. And that's what we wanted. We wanted to give people an opportunity to say, as much as you may be inexperienced to a certain level, and people may not want you in the space because you don't have the necessary time in the space, we're saying you're more than welcome. This is a platform where we're all here to grow. ANN7 as an startup company. ANN7 as a disruptor in the media space. We're looking for people that are going to come on that journey with us. So when people say, no, these people are not qualified enough from an experience perspective, I don't care. a lot of these people that people said that about, you tune into SABC, tune into ENCA, tune into Newsroom Africa, you will find where they started, ANN7. The very same people that we're speaking about.
Bro, just before COVID, you went overseas and you stayed there, if I'm not mistaken, almost 2 years.
No. I actually was living there up until recently, from 2015. Yes. So, yeah.
So you were coming and going.
I was spending most of my time that side because it was a very difficult time at that point. You know, not being able to exist economically in this country poses challenges. So I had to go hustle elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, there was a period pre-COVID where I was living outside the country and post.
And 2020 around November you came back.
Yes, I did. Correct.
Yeah, and the purpose, I know you have said this many times, is because my condolences, and it's because you had to come back to bury your late brother.
It was before COVID. Yes.
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 And when you got here, found this fire that is going on, and even people are busy asking, where's Duduzane? What actually made you to say, okay, if the authorities are looking for me, or if they want me to appear at state capture, I would go there? What led you to that decision? Because it's a lot, you know, it's a lot to have to appear before the judge, the commission, the state capture. You have to prepare, and you know your name have been mentioned throughout. What led you to that decision?
My innocence. It's not even a decision that I had to make. It's my innocence. You know, people will always talk. We live close to the fire, my brother. That's been our lives. And you know what they say, it's hot out there, Chief. You know, you fly close to the sun, you might just get burnt. But where I'm at, I'm not afraid of that fire. I'm not afraid of the smoke. You know, I want all that smoke. And that smoke is not me trying to be aggressive or combatant. It's basically saying, this is my space. This is my ground. I'm a human being. I'm a man at the end of the day. And if I need to fight for what's mine, I'll do so. You're not just going to say what you want and do what you want and I must accept it. Not a chance. So when people do things and say things, they'll do so. But when the time comes, when we stand on ground zero, we'll do what we need to do. So it wasn't necessarily a point of where I had to sit and reflect and decide. We're always going to get to a point where we're going to fight. That's what we do. We're fighters. We're born fighters, and we will die fighting. You know, so it's not by choice. It's who we are. You know, and that's what keeps us ticking. You know, we enjoy a good fight when it comes along, especially when we're fighting on the right side of history.
Around that time, November, you did an interview that made me to love you. You know, before all these years, I didn't like you were going through whatever that you were going through. You were doing well in business, in the media space, in the mining industry, and in other business ventures that you're part of. But that Golimgabi interview, that's the one that made me to love you. You are a great orator, so calm, so respectful, and you were so bold in a polite way. You know, one of the things that you mentioned in that interview is your disappointment with the then deputy president. You still feel the same way that you have been betrayed by him, or disappointed at how things unfolded?
Yeah. So betrayal is not for me to say that I was betrayed by him. It's disappointed, highly disappointed. I mean, I'm a human being, you know, and that feeling will always stand unless there's a recourse in the space of discussions, having a conversation around what transpired at the time. Because human beings, we do and we say things at different points in time, and sometimes after reflection, we realize that maybe what we did was wrong, what we did was selfish. It affected people in a certain way, and you know that discussion hasn't happened. Do I hate the man? I don't hate the man. I can never hate. Am I disappointed? Most definitely. I think anybody would be, especially in a situation where you give your all to the betterment of that relationship and what it means for the future, and what it means for, different families that are attached to that relationship. So, that feeling definitely still stands. I don't hate him. I'm disappointed. I'll forever be disappointed, for sure.
Have you bumped into him since after the interview, or maybe you tried to reach out to him, or his team or himself tried to reach out to you?
No, we haven't done that up until this point. Yeah. I haven't seen him, actually. I haven't bumped into him, but when we do, I'm sure we'll have a cordial, respectful conversation like we've always had.
Yeah.
And I will share my disappointment with him, that's for sure.
Your life is filled with so many trials and tribulations since the young age. Looking at the circumstances in which you were born to where you lived, you have always battled things in your life. And for you to stand this strong and optimistic, it's a great thing. I wish I had it, In saying that, there's a certain portrayal or maybe message of your relationship with Ace Magashule, Honorable Ace Magashule, to say that you and his sons were being used for a certain agenda. Is that true or not?
Yeah, so I don't get used.
Mm.
And if I see that I'm being used, I understand that I'm being used. So being used is something that you either accept or you don't accept. From my side, I'll speak on my behalf. I won't speak on behalf of my dear brothers, being Ntate Magashule's sons. We're business people. We're allowed to do business. We can do business with whoever we want to do business with, as long as we remain in the confines of the law. How people have viewed our relationships, how people have viewed what it is that we've done, positive and negative. People will always have their views. They'll have their opinions. Some will respect it and celebrate it, and others will negate it and shed negative light on it. But at the end of the day, we're here. We're business people. Where the issues, the said issues arise, is specifically when it has to do with state business. Right. So from my side, I've always said I have not been involved in state business in the past. They've tried looking and searching. We've given them the information. We've had the ups and downs, and there's no such thing that has happened. And I wish I did, and I'm changing my outlook. I should get involved in state business, because what people do is they try and make it seem like we shouldn't be in that space because of all sorts of things. And it boils down to levels of controls that exist. In the economic sector, you look at levels of control in the judicial sector, not just in South Africa, globally, which have now affected, and we touched upon some of the issues, not existing in the economic system, bank accounts, and that sort of thing. They're placing us in the corner, they're placing us in the box. That's all that they do. It's unacceptable to me. Why should I be treated differently to others? As much as we may have relations to our fathers who are politicians, there's something called politically exposed person. We were affected from a second-hand basis. So we're not allowed to do what it is that we believe we should be doing, like anyone else, because of our proximity to our parents. That's not on. Gift and the curse. It's good and bad. There's times where our names in our situations will be welcome, and there's times our names in our situations will not be welcome. We just have to deal with it. But it's unfortunate that people have to see this and say, no, there's certain benefit that was derived from the relationship that hasn't been in that government space. Definitely not. My journey has been a private journey, and I am going to change that outlook. The one thing that's not going to happen is people telling me what I can do and what I cannot do. As long as I'm within the confines of the law, I should be able to do whatever I want to do. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.
When was the last time you saw Honorable Ace Magashule?
It was actually a few weeks ago on a video call. There was mutual friends of ours, wherever they were. They got on a call and I just said hello to him. So physically I haven't seen him in some time, but through a video call by chance, it was a few weeks ago. And he looked good.
Yeah. He's doing well.
No, at least on camera.
Yeah.
No, he's doing good. I have a lot of respect for that man. He's doing well.
What is your relationship with Honorable Maluskikawa? Because I see videos and pictures online of you and him. I don't know, maybe it was a political rally that you guys were together, or was
No,
business?
I bumped into him also a few months ago. But to say that we've sat there and we've had discussion engagements, no, we haven't. Any interactions we've had has been impulsive.
Even like the time he was in power, Minister of Enterprise or Finance, you guys never had business together.
Every time I've seen him, it's been impulsive.
Yeah.
So it's always at public events or maybe at the airport, or we bump into each other in a hotel lobby or restaurant. But no, I've not had the opportunity to sit down with him. He hasn't had the opportunity to sit down with me.
One of the things that you volunteered to do during state capture was you taking a certain document during that hearing time. You said you were asking for time to go through it, and if there are questions you'll answer and you will send the answers back, and if there are times and days that are needed you will do so. Did you manage to do that?
I've done everything.
Yeah.
Pre, during, and post. Any information that was needed from any authority, any commission, I furnished them within the requisite information.
You raised a concern that the then public protector did not give, I'm using the following word deliberately, was not fair to you. She did not give you like a good opportunity, just like others, in time for you to appear there and answer for yourself. It was towards the end of the whole process that she managed to reach out, and you were overseas by then. Did she take an initiative to explain why she did so, or maybe apologize to you?
So she did what she had to do. She'll be able to respond to those questions, and I'm sure she'll say what she needs to say. But when it comes to authorities, when it comes to personalities and the handling of my situation, I think a lot was done back to front. But that's in the past. Whether I liked it or not, my life has been affected by those chain of events. I did mention that. I've also mentioned certain things about the commission. And there was a time where the commission, its jurisdiction in relation to court cases were running concurrently, and I had to attend a commission and with the same allegations and charges, a court process. And then I raised it and said, look, there are two things happening here. A commission of inquiry, yes, it's an inquisitorial body. Its outcomes are remedial in nature. You know, I'm going through a court process. So why am I expected to be in both? And I was summoned to appear in front of the commission. So there's certain things where it's beyond my control. You know, we've seen what's happened to people that haven't appeared haven't appeared in front of whether it is parliamentary inquiries. These inquiries are state capture inquiry, and some court cases, and you know, the law has come down hard on some people, and in some cases unfairly. You know, so from my side, I've raised those concerns just on, you know, as much as people like talking about our great constitution, I've had my rights infringed upon as well. You know, due process was not followed in some regards, but you can't sit back and complain about it. You just got to keep fighting that fight.
Bro, before you went to the State Capture Commission, correct me if I'm wrong, you felt like the state capture was a vehicle to target a certain individuals, or maybe a certain period of what was termed as state capture, and you, if I'm wrong, correct me also, you felt like there are people who are not being treated fairly and equally to others. Looking at how your hearing specifically was conducted, the lawyers, the judge, do you still feel the same way?
So I'll break it up into two. Like I said, there's certain processes that happen after the fact. After the fact, it's immaterial. Let's just say I didn't attend the State Capture Commission. I didn't go there with my legal team. I didn't respond to the allegations that were being placed upon my name. It would have been a completely different story. and I was speaking about it earlier on. There's a certain gentleman, people may know him, may not know him. His name is the former President Jacob Zuma. He happens to be my father. He was locked up for being in contempt of the very same state capture commission of inquiry. So the process is one thing. Once we're in it, we're in it. Whether we like it or not, we're left no choice. So I won't even delve into that. We fought it, and we fought it the way we needed to fight it, and the outcomes are the outcomes. But if you want to deal with, and this is the major point, if you want to deal with issues of corruption, issues of looting, state coffers, whatever the allegations are, you cannot do it over a certain time period. It's very selective. You're not going to get the results you need to get, definitely not. Because if you take a snapshot of, let's call it, what is that, 10, 12 years at max, you're telling me that you're going to deal with the issues of the country in those 10, 12 years that are allegedly caused by the people that are being alleged of certain wrongdoing. Impossible. So I said it and I maintain it. If we're going to deal with issues of state capture, we need to open it up. We need to take it further back. We've had how many dispensations? We've had 3 of them. No, well, we're in the 4th one now. Over a period of almost 30 years. We've had 3 presidents. Now, what I'm saying is, if we're going to say there's corruption in the state by state actors and private actors in the private business space, we need to take it further back. Let's undo, let's unlock, let's open up, let's pull those skeletons out from when the so-called government, or the government of the day that took over in 94, when they came into power. We start from then. We've had different political role players from then up until now. Let's open it up. This has been done. These are the role players. There have been business people that have existed before us. There have been journalists and commentators that have existed before you. They've been political figureheads and big business people that if you look at corruption in government, it's not government actors or role players, DGs, HODs, ministers, presidents, whoever's being alleged of wrongdoing. For that to happen, there's an enabler. Who are the enablers? Private players and private companies. So why are these private companies not being brought to the fore? Because they're the ones that have made the biggest amount of money when it comes to the transaction.
Are you saying this because you know something, or?
I'm saying this is, if we want to get to the truth, we've got to open it up. That's what I'm saying. And as much as I'm not a law enforcement agent of any sort. But if we take a look around and we see what's happening, we can see there's people who've benefited and are being left alone. Like I said, recently, as recent as this past week, one of the major cases that we're expecting to understand, we look at the Phala Phala case. How do you explain that this case is, there's no one that's up for prosecution? Nobody. There's monies that have been moved around, different currencies. We don't know where the money's coming from, different players. You link back to that, there's sealed documents when it comes to account information. If we're being transparent, let's open it up. Why are we sealing the documents? If you're innocent, like you say you are, what are you afraid of? When it's us, when you say you're innocent, no. They cook up stuff and they come in, they do all sorts of stuff, and you still have to answer.
Appear before the commission and explain what really happened.
No, it's not even, we don't even need a commission. This thing of commissions, and it's a long story. It's very, very simple. This is what it is. That's why when you look at the commission, a lot of these commissions, as much as they try to get to the truth, they take too long. We can't, when something happens, say commission of inquiry. It's simple. I think it's clear that there's been money found, and it was not South African denomination. It was a huge sum of money. It was found on a certain property. Straight. You go to court. Let's have it in the form of a court case. It doesn't need a commission of inquiry. If you were so serious and if you're so bold and clear that there's a case to answer, why are we going through a commission and taking so much money and time and money to bring people forward? No, this is you. This is what was found at your place. Is that your farm? Yes. This is how much. Do you know about this money? No. Who knows about it? I don't know. Okay, no, cool. Let's get to the court. Let's get the phone records. Let's get the bank accounts. These witnesses, it's the business people in Dubai and wherever else. Come in and then answer. Why are these bank accounts being sealed when it should be? I mean, you're the president of the country. We're not personalizing it, but the most transparent person should be the head of state. You are sealing his account, and it's okay for you to seal it because you don't want to. You want people to know what's happening within that space. We're not interested in your private affairs and what it is you're doing with whatever funds you have in your account. All we're saying is this money that has come in, what is that benefit taken for that amount of money? I think it's a simple question. Now we're not even looking at that. It's a shut case. Come on. So when you're saying, is there something I know? I'm not saying there's something that I know, but
yeah,
it's something that I know.
Duduzane Zuma, surely. Bro, when just to take you a little bit back, when the culpable, if I'm terming it correctly, culpable homicide case was the judgment when it was finalized to say you were not guilty, you didn't like say anything on that day, and I feel even today you haven't said anything. When you were sitting in that courtroom and the judgment was released that you're not guilty, how did you feel at that moment?
I think it would be for anyone else. Whether it's a court case, whether you're sitting at home and your parents accuse you of breaking the window and you're sitting there and you're trying to get to the bottom of it, and you know it wasn't you that did it, there was no malicious intent or activity, and then the result comes out that it's not your fault or you're not guilty, of course you're going to feel a sense of relief. That goes for anybody. And that's exactly how I felt. There's no other way to feel because you've got certain dynamics that unfold during that time, and no one wants it affecting them in any other way. So freedom is freedom, and freedom is something that we all take seriously.
In 2021 July, a chaos rose around the name of your father, the former President Jacob Zuma. It was termed as July Unrest. People were breaking people's property, people's business, taking out business products of people, taking out groceries in the name of your father, the former president. What did you feel at that moment? And as Duduzane Zuma, what are some of the initiatives that you took? Because this is your father's name that is being used out there for so many kinds of activities.
So my father's name is used for all sorts of stuff, not just that period in time. People use it for clout. People use it to make money. People use it for betterment and influence. There's certain things that you can control. There's certain things that you can't control. So if there's anything that's within my space that I can control, I'll do so. A lot of it is not in my space because it's not my name. I am not him. And he is someone that, ultimately has to deal with those issues. But if it lands on my lap, I deal with it. When it comes to that period in time, there was a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos, as you mentioned, and it was unfortunate. At any point where people are wreaking havoc, people are destroying property, whether it's state property, whether it's private property, can't be a free-for-all. We spoke about it, we spoke on it, we spoke in interviews, and even up till today, I'll always denounce those activities. As much as people may have love for people and how they showcase their disappointment in this case was completely out of order. It was unnecessary. As much as what happened was out of order and unnecessary, I still say till today, and I mentioned this, that my father being arrested and put in prison for being in contempt of a commission of inquiry doesn't make sense to me. That's something I cannot accept. People will speak about the judiciary and certain codes. Court case, found guilty, different story. Commission, inquisitorial body that recommends remedial action, found guilty, was a different story. It shouldn't be accompanied by jail time, but it was. Who am I? I'm no legal mind, but I'm just speaking from a practical situation. From my understanding, as per my experiences for having gone through the exact same process that my father went through. I've spoken about it, and like I said, I repeat it today. It was unfortunate what happened. It should not happen. I think the most that any of us can do from dealing with that situation and being a part of a solution is engaging with people, because what happened there is far more than just acts of looting. There were the cracks that showed in our socioeconomic system, poverty, racism, and many other things. So engaging with different community members, community leaders, stakeholders on how not to find ourselves in this situation again. And we do that up until today. And hence we even involved in the political space, because these are issues that we need to be dealing with aggressively from a high level so that we don't have these issues.
Bro,
Yes, my brother.
whenever you look at how things are happening in the country, the high employment rate, the cost of living is so high, and for some odd reasons, the salary is not increasing as much as the cost is increasing. Whenever you look at these factors, how do you see the future of young people economically in this country?
So the future of young people has to be driven by young people. The level of seriousness has to be brought to the fore. You know, young people, unfortunately, these days are outsourcing their well-being and their livelihood to people that don't have an interest in their well-being and their livelihood. Those people would be people that are sitting in positions of power, business, politics, whatever it is. So the only way we're going to turn that around is by us understanding how serious we have to take this. We can't sit and wait. We have this thing where we sit and we wait and this person is not doing this for us and we're expecting them to do this. No. We need to be those people in those positions of power to say, we here and this is what we're going to do. So for us to get to a point where we alleviating poverty, where we getting the unemployment rate to drop, to get people in a position where they're earning, growing the middle class. It's a simple function of investment in its business. It's not a political function. Politics, the willingness is the only thing. Decision making. Everything else is people aligned to the cause, bringing money to the table, local, international, creating opportunities by investment, massive infrastructure projects, and getting massive agricultural projects, and getting people to a situation where there's opportunity for them to jump into the jobs market. Right now, there's no one creating that space. Business people, the greedy corporates are not interested in that, and it's not all business people, but the greedy ones, they don't really space for anyone else. They need to open up that space, and they need to understand. You need to open up the space for smaller businesses, smaller to medium-term businesses that may be competitors, to jump into that space, to open up the value chain for everyone. And then on the other side, we need to also get to a point where we need to take advantage of what we have under our control in this country. The mining sector, agricultural, manufacturing. We need to reinvest in those sectors. We need to reindustrialize this country. And we've spoken about this for many years, and we see that the government is starting to at least talk about those and using that sort of language and reindustrializing the country. It's the only way we're going to get it right. We need to create industry so people have the opportunity to jump into a jobs market. Right now, there is no job market because people are not putting money into our system. So if we're not growing industry in this country, we're not growing the jobs market, and we're not going to grow our society. We need to get to a point where our middle class is grown at a rapid rate, and then everything else falls into place.
There's so many things that you are doing, and a lot of the times this happens in general, people are not covering or maybe talking about the good that people are doing. They're talking about certain like polarizing factors that arise or may arises or may polarizing connotations that are out there. But one of the things that you are doing, and I have seen it from afar from social media, is like whenever you have time, you go out to the community, you attend to issues of service delivery. I saw in one of the videos you guys were fixing a power pole. You guys are you are cleaning the street, you guys are cutting grass and trees. And what was most striking to me was when you guys, with your hands and others, built a house for a certain family. That was a great initiative. Um, in saying that, you are the one of the founding fathers of AGC. What are some of the things you have been there for a very long time? You have done businesses, you have failed, you have risen up. Uh, what you called as being targeted also happened, and accounts were frozen. You've lost like hundreds of millions in US dollars. But now you are busy with this. What are some of the things that you are willing to achieve in this country through AGC and you as an individual?
Yeah. So I think it's the main achievement is a mindset change. And we've spoken about that in AGC. You can see that the manifesto and then what we stand for. When we speak, this is what we speak about. It's a mindset change. It starts there. Anything else is not going to happen unless we change the way we look at things. If you take our society, you look at the frequency that we are thinking at, it's not the right frequency. Our frequency is take, wait. It's not give, and go. We need to get going. So when we take part in these initiatives, and it's something that we've, a lot of people do in their private time, not just us. There are a lot of great people doing great things out there who may not be getting the spotlight that we're getting, but we need to be able to take ownership. We have to take ownership of our situation. As bad as it may be in most cases, we have to take ownership and say, we need to get these hands dirty. The only way we're gonna rebuild this country is with our bare hands. We're gonna get our hands dirty. We're gonna get sick in the process. Being exposed to all sorts of things. We're gonna get injured, but it is light work when everyone is carrying their load, and that's the ethos that we stand by.
There's so many things that we can talk about, and I'm really sorry because of time we can't touch them. I have to compress a lot of things that I wanted to talk to you about. In summing up the whole interview, what are some of the rumors that are out there about Duduzane and the Zuma family that you would like to address?
None. I'm not worried about what people say. Rumors are rumors. Opinions are opinions. I'm not here to change what people think about me or us, and they haven't met us or interacted with us. The rumors will remain the rumors. Facts, that's a different story. So I'm not going to address what people are saying and what people are thinking to create some movement in the discourse of tabloids or social media. It's not what I do. I don't pay attention to those menial things.
I hope you watched the newsroom interview with the former president, Jacob Zuma, where he was expressing his feelings towards the ANC and President Cyril Ramaphosa. When you saw how your father felt, did you know prior to that interview? And if you found out during that interview, how did you feel? And did you feel like, as a son, you have maybe to take initiative for your father to have help, maybe counseling, because you can see that deep down is hurting?
So everyone deals with issues, trauma, in different ways. He's got his own way of dealing with his situations. I've got my own way of dealing with my situations, and I'm sure yours as well. Some people bottle it in and they die with it. Others will speak about it and amplify it to the world. And others will do an in-between thing where they'll speak sometimes and hide. So when it comes to what someone else is going through, the only one or the only person that can help is themselves as a starting point. Acknowledging and then discussing and then dealing with. So he needs to go through whatever process he's going to go through. It can't be forced. It can't be prompted. He's going to do it whenever he wants to do it. You know, if it's in the form of a meeting with people that he may be unhappy with, or people that are unhappy with him, it'll be in a meeting. If it's going to be via camera in a interview, news channel, a podcast, a newspaper interview, that's just the way it's going to go. So I cannot comment on how other people deal with their situations. I can only comment on how I deal with the situation. But you can see there's a lot that he's gone through. There's no doubt about it. Historically and up until now, he's been treated in a very peculiar manner, an unfair manner in most cases. But at the end of the day, he is who he is. He's played the game and continues to play the game at the highest level. And the one thing that I realized in learning from him, it comes with the good and the bad. It comes with the pressure. It comes with the insults. Because when it's good, it's very good. And when it's bad, very bad.
Yeah. You have went through a lot, and you have had a very, very tough childhood. You've been to courts every now and then. The past 10 or 15 years, you have lost mine. Did you go for counseling yourself?
Counseling is a very interesting concept. You know, yes, everyone should speak about their situations. Sometimes it's to someone who's clinically qualified, professional. Like I said, we all deal with trauma, with issues differently. From my side, I keep it moving. The situation happens, I assess it, and I move on from there. And life and time is the ultimate healer. So I wait it out. When the time comes, we'll deal with the situation. There's certain things that we'll not forget about and we'll deal with, and there's other things that we'll leave and say, you know what, let bygones be bygones. But it's only a matter of time before we deal with those situations. Because we can sit here and say, we'll forgive this person. I'm just using a loose example, whoever that person is, after having a conversation. And then the next thing you see them in the hallway, you're on top of it. Your emotions, your thought process, you know, it's not something that can be suppressed by conversations, how you deal with it. So at the end of the day, it boils down to the specific individual.
Thank you so much, bro, for making this time. I don't take this lightly. You're a busy man, and I'm just nobody. I always say this to my guests, and having someone like yourself to make time to talk to me, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, bro, and I wish you all the best in everything that you do. You know, always just keep moving, as you always say, as Martin Luther King Jr. also said. In closing, I see your sister, just in 20 seconds, I don't want to delay you. Your sister lately has been receiving social media attacks, and she said what feels like that's which to a certain extent is true. That apartheid has a contributor factor in that, and you are also a victim of that. I don't feel like you know how to speak Zulu also fluently. What are your thoughts on that in 20 seconds?
No, in 20 seconds is, I'm not a victim of anybody. I do not take a victimhood mentality or posture. There's certain things that happen and we learn from them. So I won't comment on anyone else, I'll comment on myself. I've had my trials and tribulations, I've had my experiences. Where I stand, people understand. Whether I'm quiet, whether I'm speaking, whatever language I'm speaking, that's the most important thing. You know, people like trivializing things, and people like having social media discussions. It is what it is, but you know, I must say that it is a very interesting topic of discussion for some people. But from my side, all I say is, guys, this is me. This is who I am. It's either you like me or you don't. If you don't, tough luck for you. You like me, let's work and let's keep it moving.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you very much. And before this man said he's a nobody. No. That is not true. I've watched your body of work. You've had some interesting guests before me, and I'm sure you'll have many others after you. And the space that you're in is not an easy space. There's a lot of competition. You know, for the mere fact that people take the time out to sit on your platform says that you are somebody. You're someone worth having a sit down with, someone worth having a conversation with. So I do not accept you saying that you're nobody, and you should never say that to people. You are somebody. You are Marcelo Simon. You do have a voice. You do have a platform. There are a lot of people that do what it is that you're doing. It's a very competitive space. But the one thing that I respect about this man is he's made a huge effort. And you know, I'm not going to say that on camera what that effort is. I appreciate it and respect it. A lot of people don't do it, and he's done it. So you're somebody, my brother. You're somebody. Don't ever let anyone say anything else.
Thanks so much.
Cool. Thank you very much, brother.